Kathleen, I'll start off with you. And of course, the Fed is front and center. It's interesting that between 50, 75 and 100, markets seem to think that 75 is the not too hot and not too cold Goldilocks point here.
Well, first of all, it's also still a very large rate hike. Granted, it'll be the third one they've done in a row if they do it. But 50 basis points now seems like something that's in the rearview mirror, at least for now. Inflation is high. It hasn't broken. The Fed has made it very clear from federal bank presidents to governors that they're very concerned about the inflation rate. So 50 basis points just doesn't even seem like... The debate is 75 and 50, isn't it? And the totality of the data, that's Jay Powell's words. When you look at the strength of the economy, it still has it, labor market, for example, and the hotness of inflation, that would argue for at least 75. I think that's the way to say it. But the reason why the 75 camp thinks that it is the reason, not only a reason to do it, it's why they should do it. Because look, if you do anything bigger, you're going to get people all worried about recession. They're going to start talking about rate cuts next year. Financial conditions will ease. Bond yields will rise again. It's going against the grain of what you need to do. So stick with 75. You're going to bring inflation down. Now, if you look at the arguments people are making for 100, I would say at the top of the list is you've got to restore your credibility. Look, inflation wasn't transitory. Now it's terrible. So this will help people realize that you are serious about this fight. You're not going to pivot too soon. And you need to get ahead of inflation. Stamp on it hard while the economy still has the strength not to be completely stamped out. Maybe you then could open the door to smaller November rate hike, that 50 basis point hike, because you're starting to get under control. You might impress the public that you're really so much that you're cutting inflation expectations. And a lot of people would say gradualism just ain't cutting it, you guys. The inflation rate is still way too high. You can't move there yet. And Jay Powell opened the door to a 100 basis point hike in July. He was asked a question right after they'd done a 75 basis point hike. And when he was asked about doing something bigger, like 100, here's what he said. He noted that, I'd say we wouldn't hesitate to make an even larger move than we did today if the committee were to conclude that that was appropriate. Do they think it's appropriate now? We aren't sure. And all the Fed speaking going up to it has been, again, left the door open to the latest data. The latest data have been hot. They've been strong on inflation, that is. They've been strong on the labor market. So one more thing to look at, though, is the fact that people are going to be very interested in the dots. The revised, it's every 3 months, they revise their forecast for where they think interest rates were going to go. Big Wall Street firms have been raising their terminal rate. Goldman just raised theirs from about 3.75 at the end of the year to 4 to 4.25. That's the kind of thing the dots can confirm.